All right, let's get to it. Welcome back to Live. Do not have my headphones on at the moment, which feels weird, but I'm just giving them a charge. Forgot to charge. Well, they're at like 20%, so I'm gonna let them charge for like 10 minutes. They're Sony XM3s there, so they actually have a pretty good charge. I just fix my camera there. I've got a wire sticking out. Cool. Just gonna go check socials real quick. Uh, had a couple false starts with the stream this morning. I I reset the docs on it and in OBS, and then it restarted OBS. So then basically that stopped the stream, and then it was using an old stream key, and then because it when I reset the things, it reset my account, so I had to log back in with restream. So, anyways, all I'd say is we are live now, and it does feel weird not having headphones on. Let me go delete a few things here because I've got false start here, or maybe LinkedIn actually. Okay, cool. So one thing my friend Ian Douglas told me was, "Hey, learner 0418, good to see you." I couldn't figure out why I was only able to post once on my LinkedIn when I do a live stream, because I'm like, it always works when I'm on somebody else's, like either as a guest or if I'm just literally watching one. Like I watch Taylor Desson's quite a bit, and Ian told me to avoid spam, you have to actually be watching the stream. So I'm gonna do a test here. So I see there's a couple people on LinkedIn testing if I can post a comment on my own stream, as it usually doesn't work. Okay, so it's 100% that. Okay, so thank you, Ian. Appreciate that. The only thing that's annoying about that is you have to have it running, which isn't the end of the world, I guess, but I don't know. I get it from a spam perspective. I'm just gonna drag it over to another screen. Okay, now I'm gonna try one more, and you can see like, okay, yeah, it seems okay. Cool. All right, that's good. Let's just go check what's going on the other stuff here. Cool. Might as well share my screen, and cool. Let's zoom this in. It's on my local. This one's actually dead. I stopped my dev server, but so there's some stuff we've been working on at Pomerium. So I'm gonna share a couple things here. So there's this MCP app demo. I've worked on this quite a bit. This is basically it's it's a full stack app. It's a tan stack start app, and essentially it's not literally an MCP client in the sense that like I don't instantiate a new MCP client class, but uh, on the back end when you make calls to the chat route API endpoint, it's hitting OpenAI's responses API. That's really hard to say. It's kind of like she sells seashells by the seashore kind of vibes, but that is basically acting like an MCP client because we were able to gather the MCP servers and call whichever ones. So like can give you a quick demo of that. But I also we have another one now called MCP servers. And yeah, now that I can actually comment on my own LinkedIn, yes, I will go ahead and share the links on LinkedIn. Okay. So here, so we got this. This is some MCP servers we're working on. And the other one was MCP app demo. Okay. And then there's this one as well. And I actually wrote a post on the OpenAI community. I gotta log in, but yeah, let's sign in. Cool. Boom. Just give it a sec. Also feels good to be able to actually post on. Oh, somebody liked it. Nice. I'll share the post here, and I'm gonna go post this on the other channels. But this is what I put out there for folks curious, and let's go ahead and post that on the others. So we've got MCP servers as well, like I mentioned. Cool. And okay, cool. Paste in the one from Open AI community forums. Cool. So everybody should have that stuff now. Cool, cool. All right. Nice. Yeah. So essentially, if you haven't been in the past couple streams, or like we actually just came back from the AI World Fair as well. That was a great week. But essentially, Pomerium itself is a it's zero trust security architecture. This is our main product. It's think of it like an app gateway. It's an identity aware proxy. So you get all the stuff from zero trust security principles. Like we've been doing this for a while. So we in general just secure internal apps. We, Kubernetes workloads, etc. But in terms of uh, no, it wasn't generated by ChatGPT. I'm not sure if you're referring to the post, Peter, or what, but I will say the MCP app demo. I started off with that in bolt.new. I've done a lot of front end, so like it did help me move a lot faster. But you still got to be critical of these things. But definitely leveraging AI to build out the MCP app demo definitely helped. But again, just don't take it verbatim, obviously. Um, there's some things I still want to do in that project, like, you do need to add some tests and stuff, but this was originally just for a demo. Yeah. No, I have no shame, Peter. I think it's important to use these tools, but you just have to be critical of them is all. Which I'm sure, based on your question, I'm guessing you probably agree. But I think the danger with well, because the original vibe coding from Andrew Karpathy wasn't like a bad thing. It was like I know what I'm doing, and I'm just gonna leverage these tools. And then it became a thing, kind of like, hey, just vibe coding. Kind of like I don't care what I'm doing. I'm just gonna ask it to build me something. So, but but in all seriousness, I think the danger with those things. Oh yeah, sorry, Peter. It's hard to tell when through text messages or chat messages. So, anyways, um, but yeah, in general though, I would say like I do think the danger there is for people with less experience. Just taking things. Yeah, no, exactly, Peter, for sure. You know, I don't know, like people have beaten this to death, but we're not all gonna lose our jobs. I think there's categories of jobs that will disappear for sure. Like I think mundane stuff that can be automated that somebody is currently doing, those jobs will probably be at risk to be like you know objective about these things. But I think to your point, you're definitely gonna have more critical thinking, but it really does kind of give you superpowers and like being able to do proof of concepts. I, I, it's all good, Peter. I'm actually very sarcastic too. It's just since I've never spoken to you, it's hard to tell through messages. So, anyways, I'm gonna see. I charge my headphones for like 5 minutes. That should give me enough juice for the stream. Let's see. Just because I generally like to listen to music while I'm doing this. Uh, I never stream the music over my live stream though, just because of issues with like I think it's more uh, YouTube probably, LinkedIn. I don't know. They probably check too, but also if I ever pull out stuff out of my streams, basically I don't want music playing when I'm editing it, so I basically just have it playing for myself. So I'm just listening to some lo-fi. Anyways, cool. All right, now that I got everything back together, I can kind of talk about it briefly here. I've talked about it on the other streams already, but like, so Pomerium, it's an open core identity aware proxy. So feel free to read the post I put on the OpenAI community, but uh, the TLDR here is, like I said, in general, we're really good at securing internal apps, including Kubernetes workloads, but we're a layer 7 proxy, so that fits really well with MCP. So we've started to secure MCP. We're not an AI company, but we're a security company. Or security software company. So just kind of want to explain a couple things here. So let's go to this first one here, and I'll zoom it in. That should be okay, I think. So this is like this diagram here just shows uh, connecting from an MCP client to an MCP server secured with Pomerium, so secured with an identity aware proxy. So the MCP client here, like think of that as like Claude, or it could be connectors in ChatGPT, or um, whatever client you use, VS Code now. Just in terms of, I'm talking specifically about remote model context protocol servers. So basically, when you want to add an MCP client, you just add a server URL. You typically give it a name. So then it goes. You hit that URL so it can actually register it. It's going to go through Pomerium, so it proxies through here. Then it hits the actual MCP server, gets you registered, and then from Pomerium, you end up back with a short-lived token, which is essentially your user session in Pomerium, or not your user session, but like just you. It's like it's your jot about you, and that's a short-lived token, and that's what goes back to the MCP client. So that I think is pretty straightforward. But if we go up further here, and for people less familiar with zero trust security, so it goes through the proxy, like I mentioned. So you have a from route. This is essentially the public facing that you see. So, like for example, like my secure site.nikiT.co, and then it goes to an internal route, and this is the route that's actually on your internal network. And just to kind of explain again, to the identity aware proxy, so Pomerium, that sits at your network's edge. This is like, I've done a lot of app dev, front end dev, and so like if you're on like Vercel or Netlify, this is not something you deploy with your website. This is something at the infrastructure level. But hey, what's going on, Jason? Good to see you, my man. See, Render, we treated you pretty good. I see you got Angie on later today, so gonna check that out. Um, yeah, just going over a bit about some stuff doing with MCP servers over Pomerium. So yeah, so essentially you have this from and to route, and then the routes in general in Pomerium, you just give them a name. And now there's this new section called MCP. In this case, it's just an empty config. But let's talk about a more interesting scenario, which is like you have an MCP server that connects to, say, like GitHub, Notion, something that requires an OAuth flow to authorize you to access those resources. And yeah, I'm sure you're very tired, Jason. No doubt, no doubt. Um, cool, cool. So the thing here is, I guess let's just talk about OAuth in general first. I think in general, people do not like having to implement OAuth. You know, there's a reason why people usually reach for off the shelf stuff in terms of like whether it's like single sign on and etc. So uh, currently, like if you want to implement an MCP server that connects to, say, like GitHub, you have to handle the whole OAuth flow. I'm not going to go into that because like I honestly don't even understand the whole spec, but I do, high level. You'll typically see that usual like allow GitHub to connect, or allow this app to connect to GitHub, blah blah blah. Um, and it does the whole token auth flow there. That's stuff that people generally don't want to do. And the other thing too is, say you have an MCP server that does require that the token you get back from it, that's going to get stored on the MCP client, like Claude, or like I said, ChatGPT connectors, or like VS Code. Now it was in Insiders only originally, but now it's in the stable version, so you can use remote streamable HTTP servers for MCP in VS Code now too. Cool. All right. Yeah. So, like I was saying, people don't really want to have to do that. So, what we do is we handle that all for you, and there's a couple nice things that come out of that. One, you don't have to implement it, obviously. So your MCP server's job is really, you focus on what's the business aspect of it. What do you want it to provide to users? You still have to get like a client ID and client secret for OAuth, but all you have to do is add it to the MCP section of your MCP route in Pomerium. And then here's the nice part. So let me scroll this up. So just like before, you go and add like a MCP server from the MCP client, and I'll show that real quick here. Let's just go to cloud, or you know what? Let's even go into code. Um, and let's do MCP. See, this I can't zoom in, but let's just say let's choose HTTP. It's going to ask you to enter a server URL, and then like HTTP test.com, which is not going to work. Then you give it a name, and then I'm going to say put in user settings, and then all of a sudden you're going to see there's this config down here. um this is in VS Code, but you can see here, this is one I have that's actually working, but this is the test one I did just to show it. But the thing that happens here is, once you connect there, is the MCP client's going to retain that token for that particular MCP server. So like it's going to be managing those tokens you got back when you did the OAuth flow. And that can be a security risk potentially. So that, along with like we handle the flow for you, basically what happens is, um, you go and add your MCP server again. But when it gets to the point where it's like over here, where it's like, oh, I need to connect to GitHub or Notion or whatever, we do that whole auth flow for you. We get the token, and then Pomerium stores it. So what happens is, from the MCP client standpoint, all it gets back is the short-lived token from Pomerium, not the actual upstream services like GitHub or Notion. So that's kind of nice from a security standpoint. So those are kind of the two things that we've been offering. Um, Still early days, obviously, but that's kind of what this whole post is, and I'll drop it again because there's been a bit of chatter. Interestingly enough, it's more chatter on LinkedIn today than the other channels, which is not a bad thing. Maybe it's because of karma, where I finally got posting on LinkedIn to work. I don't know. So let's go. Yeah, okay, it's already there on LinkedIn. Let me just refresh the chat. Cool, cool. Yeah. All right. Now I can. Yeah, man, this is so much nicer. I mean, it'd be nice if I could actually comment on the LinkedIn posts in Restream chat, but I can't. But regardless, um, hey Peter, just checking out your profile, seeing what you get up to. So, chief business officer at a place called Beacon Pilot. Ah, cool. Well, if you want to connect, man, I'm gonna go give you a follow over there on LinkedIn. Um, cool. Let me just check. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So, okay, yeah, it's pretty dead on the other channels this morning. It's LinkedIn that's popping off now. Yeah, yeah, no, no, no. I'm sure you got the notification. It's just interesting. I mean, I do get people from LinkedIn watching the stream, but typically there's more viewers on like YouTube and Twitch, but I guess today's different. So I just kind of want to show the app me and my coworker Dennis have been building. So this is not a full-fledged version of ChatGPT. This was for a demo we gave at the AI World Fair like 2 weeks ago, or yeah. Um, so like, there's no saved chats or anything yet. It's really just you can ask a question. So like, I can say like, this, what is a linked list? And it's gonna go ahead and answer. This is calling the OpenAI Responses API. I have it zoomed in just so people can see it a bit better. That's why it there's not much real estate, but you can see it answers. That's great. Now, the other thing is there's some UI stuff I got to clean up here, but let's connect to uh, Northwind DB. So the Northwind DB, this is like a test database that's been around forever. It's like here, Win DB. Yeah, it's from .NET. I'm trying to find, let's say Wikipedia, just to give the history of it for anybody. Well, whatever. This seems good. I'll just pop this in. But essentially, this is a test database that's been around for like, I don't know how long, but I was doing .NET and before that ASP. So this has been around since at least 2000. Can't remember honestly how long, but regardless. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and paste that over on LinkedIn as well. Okay, now it's failing to post. I got to press play. That's why. Okay, so it's that. Okay, cool. There. So yeah, now it works. So again, just shout out to Ian Douglas for that tip that you have to actually be running the live stream on LinkedIn. Like, you have to be playing it. Anyways, so this is, if I zoom this in, it's just a database of customers, products, suppliers, etc. So we create an MCP server with this, and essentially you can ask questions. So this is kind of like our like uh, database of customers just for demo purposes. So I could say like, who are the customers of Vinet? That's one of the companies. So you're gonna see it makes a tool call. I'm gonna zoom out one. Um, so this is the MCP server. You can see. Okay, I might have asked the wrong query, but um, you can see here it's actually the MCP server is actually trying to do something. So it's actually calling it, making a database call here. I'll ask a more general question. Who are all the European suppliers? So you see it's making a tool call now. So because we're using the Northwind DB MCP server, and it tells us here's all the suppliers from the database. And so this is, you're getting this enhanced context by connecting to the MCP server. Let's refresh another one, and I'll connect GitHub this time and say like, show my user information. It's gonna call GitHub here, and it should output my information. So you can see here, oh, even did my profile photo. Nice. Thank you. Markdown to HTML. You can see here. So I'm just asking about myself, and it gives the bio and stuff, and my funny mug. Anyways, these are just examples, and these things are all secured with Pomerium. And the GitHub one, I already did the OAuth flow, so you're not going to see it. I'm wondering if I do the Notion one. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I've already been signed in. I'd have to reset it. Um, but basically, you would normally get that like, Notion is trying to connect to this particular app, etc. Hey, what's going on, Violated Sign? I got Pomerium set up finally this weekend. Is there a better way to replace render.env variables into the config YAML? I'm using msubst. I feel like I mean, it depends how you're deploying it, but wherever you're getting the secrets from, whether it's the .env or not, I think you just use the config like I was showing you the other day there. Let me go to SSH root. Of course, my IP changed. One sec here. Just got to go update my IP on DO. This will be less of an issue once I have the work from Pomerium for supporting native SSHs in. But for now, let me just go to DigitalOcean. Give me a sec here. Also, good to see you, Violated Sign. Always glad to see you in the chat. Appreciate the support. Okay, just give me 1 second. All right, new IP, cool. Let's go to my droplets. 1 second here. Droplet, networking. All right, there we go. Let's edit this. Not sharing this on the screen. Well, it's not the end of the world if I show my IP, I guess, but let's save that. Okay, let's come back here. Clear. There we go. Okay. Let me get the chat back. Hey man, what's up? I just got my entrance exams result. Didn't do well. They define which college I go to. Oh, sorry, man. I honestly don't know what to say. Like, um, oh no, all good for the hard questions. Don't worry about it. Yes, because like right now the way I have it is, let me zoom this in. So if I go to VI config, I'm basically I am reading it from the .env, but like this is how you should be popping them in here. Um, I guess the other option, I'd have to look actually. Um, let's see, Pomerium. Our docs still need a bit of a rework, but let's see here. Environment, not envoy. Yeah, environment variables, not tracing. Okay. Config file keys. No, no. It's not what I want to look at. Let's see here. Environment variables. The recommended way to configure tracing is by using, yeah, okay, no. Yeah, that's hotel specific, but yeah, I mean everything, yeah, is environment variables, but um not sure what else. I mean, there's other ways to deploy. Yeah, exactly how I'm doing it. Okay, I'm trying on a substitute and helper shell to render the config file, then launch the Docker. I'm hoping to make a way to configure it without having to start stop containers. Yes, Pomerium does hot load config files. They do. So I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure if that applies to an environment uh, file like a .env, but it definitely applies to the config.yaml. So if you change the config.yaml, it immediately updates. Like yeah, instantly. Yeah, I can't. Well, I'm just curious. Like in general, like you have to inject the environment variables. Like if you're in a CI/CD pipeline, you might have like GitHub secrets, or maybe you have some secret store, or it's the .env. Wherever you store it, like you do have to pull them out at some point, right? Um, we do have a Terraform provider as well, um, but so I guess you could maybe decrypt stuff in there. Um, But yeah, for now, I'm keeping it simple with just the .env file. I don't have a CI/CD pipeline set up for what I'm doing at the moment. But yeah, it's a good question though. Violated sign. Let me just go check worky work for a second. There, cool. All right, all good. Do, 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 do. I'll probably make a UI to write into the config. The secrets and stuff can be static on it. Uh, so you can use Pomerium Core, which is the open source, but you can also, depending on what you're doing, you can actually use Pomerium Zero. So this is a paid product, but there is a free tier of it where you get like 10 routes. So like it's actually good for like a home lab and stuff. Actually, let me go to the right one. I'll go to my home lab setup for a second, which I kind of destroyed this weekend by accident. But in here, then you can configure things. So like, here's my route. You can configure that way. So like, if you're going the UI route, I mean, depending on what you're doing, there's also settings. Not so much environment variables in here, I would say. Well, you can definitely do it, I'm sure. Hold on a sec. Now let's just rotate the token. Yeah, I think if you, I guess curious what you're gonna do with the UI config, but anyways, the thing I was looking at today here, let's quit this, clear. So my digital ocean should be good now. Okay, so that's all so the funny thing ran into was, and I actually just wrote a post about this related to it. Let's go. I forgot it auto published this morning. Uh, Not here. Let's go. Boom. Yeah. So I wrote this. I didn't realize that I would get rate limited in Let's Encrypt, but it makes sense. So I wrote this blog post about it. I'm just gonna go share it on LinkedIn too for a second. Do 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 do. Paste. There we go. Cool. Yeah. So basically, when I was testing my configurations, like, um, basically, I've created some routes. Like if we come back to here, vi config.yaml, I have several routes here, right? So like I have appdemo.maisonlab.dev. I've got jaeger.demo.maisonlab.dev. All of those, I'm using pork bun, so I have a DNS record that points to DigitalOcean for the demo.maisonlab.dev domain, and then I have a records I defined in DigitalOcean so that it ends up at my droplet. So that's all good. But when I first started it, uh, the main issue I ran into, I was like, okay, it registered sometimes, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And then all of a sudden, I got these rate limiting errors, and I'm like, what is going on? And so the main culprit was, if I zoom this in a bit, so in Pomerium, you have port 80 open for Let's Encrypt just to get a bit of info, and port 443 open, obviously, because that's the proxy, that's where everything goes through. The problem was, uh, the cache folder for Let's Encrypt. So we use this auto cert flag in the config. I was pointing to the wrong folder in the container. So every time I would start up the container, it would go and generate those certificates because it got wiped out every time I restarted. And that's how I ended up getting throttled. So I finally saw in the logs, oh, okay, this is the actual folder /data/autocert. And I mapped that to the droplets like file system now to pomerium-cache. And that fixed the issue of throttling, or it should have. So now I just gonna see, whoops, Docker PS. Okay, so let's clear and let's just do Docker PS, sorry, Docker compose, restart. I'm not going to do dash D because I want to just see the logs. Or actually, no, that would do it. Sorry. Let's do Docker logs dash F root Pomerium. Okay. Okay, so now we can see obtaining certificate, added certificate. So it's working now. So that was what threw me off. So now if we go to, let's say, like app.demo.maisonlab.dev, the certificate's valid. I'm gonna log in. I'm using auth0 here for my IDP. Let's log in with my Pomerium account. And there we go. That's good. And then there's also the verify should work. That's all good. So the certificate issue is fixed. That's good. There's an MCP I started, but it um, wasn't completely working here. So let's just clear that and let's go to vi config. Sorry, compose. Uh, so I have this north wind. So the test database is in there. So click in here. Cool. All right. So that's good. Let me just go back and check the chat. Thanks for the info. I hit the rate limits as well with auto cert flag. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So the folder, it's just I didn't clue in, and like again, for context for anybody catching the live stream, I've typically done app dev, mainly web dev, and even a lot more front end than back end. And so I'm still ramping up on Docker and stuff. I'm still, believe it or not, ramping up on Pomerium still. Pretty comfortable with this stuff now. I started there like January 17th, 13th. So it's been like February, March, April, May, June. So like 5 months now. But there's still a lot to learn. Anyways, not 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 uh, not intimidating or anything. It's just I'm happy when I learn these things, and that's also why I wrote that blog post because I literally did not know that Let's Encrypt has a staging, and it makes sense if you think about it. But I just hadn't occurred to me, you know. But the only thing to know about that, and I mentioned it in the blog post, and also let's manage. No, not that one. I want to pin a new one to the profile. Pin to profile. Oh, too many pinned. Okay. Let's see. What do I got in my pinned stuff here? Astro, Go single flight, open telemetry, creating a copilot. Okay, yeah. Let's unpin this guy. Also, if you post on Dev2, in case you didn't know, you can actually pin posts to your profile. So there we go. Let's pin that. And let's go check it now. Cool. Yeah. So I'm going to give myself some love. There we go. Cool. But yeah, essentially, and also to be clear, violators, I'm guessing you realize this, but this is not a Pomerium specific issue. We have this auto sort feature that just plays well with Let's Encrypt, but this is something that you would run into using anything that would be calling Let's Encrypt. So yeah, so here's the infamous 429. Yeah, so too many certificates already issued for this exact set of domains. Yeah, certbot would have the same issue if you were calling it multiple times. So in Pomerium, at least, you just have to, well, one, there's this issue. I had the wrong folder. And then if you're using the staging one, at least in Pomerium, you configure this auto cert underscore CA and you change it to staging. For certbot or other services that use Let's Encrypt, I'm not sure where you would configure that, um, but I'm bringing this up too because like I constantly have people saying like I don't know what to blog about or write about, and I typically just blog about stuff I learned or an issue I ran into or a feature I worked on. That's typically where I get most of my blog post material, and that's exactly what this one is here. I'll go ahead and share that in the chat. I'll just put the name too. Don't get rate limited. Use Let's Encrypt staging. Right. Only thing with using the OBS UI for chat is you have to right click and paste. You can't. I'm not sure why you can't use Command V or like Control V if you're on like Linux or whatever or Windows, but you just can't for some reason. That's cool. Boom. Let's copy that and let's paste that bad boy. Boom. Cool. And let's go pop that over on LinkedIn now that I no longer have issues posting onto my own live streams. I would say this is more feedback for LinkedIn, but if I'm doing the live stream, I guess they're assuming you're only streaming to your own just to LinkedIn, but like regardless, I think if you're the author, you should be able to just post even if you're not actually watching it. I mean, if you're spamming yourself in a live stream, I don't know. That's a whole other issue, maybe. Cool. All right. So basically, no, I don't want to talk to you, Siri. Let's come over here to not yeah, there's that, but let's servers. Ba, ba, ba. Can put that in MCP servers latest. So which MCP servers do we have in here? I haven't fully looked in here. Okay, that's builder. Okay, we got Notion. Uh, what else? Let's see the make file, or actually, let's read here. Um, yes, not an official Pomerium product for sure. Configure the relevant MCP, a tailored Notion MCP server that uses Notion OAuth for the current user and specifically implements OpenAI deep researcher requirements. Cool. That's cool. I don't want to use my actual Notion, work Notion on a live stream because like it could surface even though I would be logged in and all the security be right, like I don't want it showing potentially internal only stuff on a live stream. But let's focus on over here on the demo. So there's some things I still have to clean up. Um, there's this pull request. This just needs to get reviewed and merged, but uh, this is basically allows you to it uses reasoning. So you can see here this running. This is video, so I can't zoom it in, but essentially ask a question, it makes tool calls. You can see it's going to start doing some reasoning in a second here. Yeah, so see now it's doing some reasoning and then just goes on and gives it to you. That work is done. That just needs a review from Dennis. But there's this issue, approve mode. So basically we need to just get people to say like, do you want this tool to run or no? So I might look at that. Um, this one here. I'll drop that in the chat. Cool. And drop this over on LinkedIn too. So I think I might look at this morning. Just seeing anything else going on. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Let's just check socials real quick. Crack my back. Okay, yes. Live working on MCPs. Yes. What's going on Blue Sky? Boom. Cool. Thanks for the like, Angie. And LinkedIn, I think we're just checking on liked comments. Yeah. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Also, thanks again, Peter, for joining the stream today. Yeah, so essentially there's a couple things. I gotta get Pomerium up and running on my computer again. I have a script for this. Let's get out of here. This is in the digital ocean uh, droplet. We don't need that. Let's come back here. And yeah, so we wanna so basically I can just show this real quick. Let's open up another, where is it? Do I not have it in here? Dev work Palm scripts. Where are you at? Oh yeah, here it is. Open. Let's save that project. Cool. Essentially, I have a script that basically, and this I definitely vibe coded then tweaked, but it's essentially a script that just, there's Docker Compose as well, but it starts a couple tmucks. Um, Depending on the flag, because we have an SSH branch at the moment, I might test that one. Uh, this is for development mode only though, but if you like stop things, Envoy, which is what we use under the hood for the proxy, it still sticks around. So I just kill off stuff. It's basically a bunch of stuff that I used to do manually that I just decided to script to save myself time. So instead of spending like 30 minutes, I've gone to like 10 seconds or whatever. And then essentially there's the config.yaml, and that's just all the usual stuff. This I have to actually, we don't need the, I'm not in the SSH branch right now, so let's turn that off. And let's see what else. Okay, that's the app. We don't need Dino right now. We can comment that out, but whoops, did not mean to do that. Did not mean to do that either. I meant to do this. Cool. We don't need N8N right now either. Just keeping this lean and mean. There's the SSH one we don't need. Mini-me we can keep open. Okay. So I'm just gonna start up the script, and for some reason it wasn't starting everything the other day. So let's see. Okay, yeah. Why is the data broker not starting? This is what I ran into the other day. Okay, it's not gonna start. So okay. Why would that not be starting? Um, yeah, data broker. Let's see. So I didn't really change anything, so I'm wondering what's up. Um, Maybe I should pull latest of main, because like, let's look in the startup script. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, it's using the SSH branch. Otherwise, yeah, otherwise it just uses regular Pomerium. Okay, let me just get latest. So let's do Pomerium G pull. Cool. Let's do make build. All right, build away. Okay, while that's building, just gonna check on some things. Boom, boom. Okay, that built. Nice. Cool beans. Okay, let's exit that. Now, Um, broker. So why is port 5443 not ready? So let's first of all let's check everything here. gRPC address, data broker, Postgres. I wonder if it's a brew issue. Brew services. Okay, status none. I think is that the issue or is like I should just have Postgres here. It's probably easier. 17 user 5432. Okay. So why am I listening here? Hold on a sec. Um, let me check my compose. I should probably just what's this one? This Pomerium MCP. Oh, wait a minute. Um, that's the wrong config. Sorry, this was the one for the DigitalOcean. This is what I'm running. Okay. So let's see here. That's not starting, but Postgres does start. Pom Postgres. Okay. Let's see. What would have changed? Let's see here. When is Postgres is okay, let's see here. This isn't running, so let's just do this. My data broker stopped working recently. I switched branches, then came back to the main branch. This is what happens when I start at start pom. Let's add context, start pom, and let's add compose. Is that right? Compose. Yeah. Okay. The data broker never starts. Let's see. It starts in the tmux session after the scripts wait for it to be. This creates a deadlock. Okay. All right. So maybe this was an issue I always had. I don't know. I don't know if sleep is the best thing, but um okay, but it's definitely okay. This makes sense why maybe sometimes Pomerium doesn't start. I'm not sure. Um all right. I don't think sleep is the best approach, but let's just see what happens. Will the sleep is just hiding the real problem, but it might be that I should just be doing that check later. And I have a feeling maybe the Tmux stuff started after. I don't know. Let's see here. Okay, so it is that. Um, this error is normal. this happens sometimes. I just basically have to start it up again. And here, okay. So that's good. Like if we go to verify, that should load up. Cool. Okay, my program's back up. So I think I've just been lucky this whole time that it always uh just the health check, it was up by the time 30 was done, and it usually started after like a few. So let's improve this though. Sleep is just a band-aid solution. Should we reorder when the data broker is ready? Also, doesn't Pomerium need need the data broker to run? So like this is kind of catch 22. Turn down my thing here. Got some side fan happening. Okay, but I know this is a logical issue in the current flow. Script is checking for port 443, but then the console is waiting for port 443 per. Okay, so remove the arbitrary sleep. Yes. Proper ordering script start. Well, let's see here. Start Premium Core, which includes Data Broker, immediately begins checking for Data Broker readiness. Only proceeds to start console once the Data Broker is confirmed ready. Okay. Okay, let's see what. Let's do a diff here. I gotta zoom down. Okay. Wait for Param Data Broker to be ready. This should go back to 30, but okay, that's not the part. Okay, if I equals 60, check. Okay, wait a minute here. Let's add this, and then let's just do this. Command Shift P, unstage. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so that leaves us with this. Oh, I didn't mean to do all of it, but oh, yeah, there we go. Whoops. Yeah. So waiting for data broker. So let's see here. No, we're not waiting before starting Postgres. That message is wrong. But let's see here. So waiting for data broker. Okay, none of that. This is the real thing. So 30 it didn't change anything. They just put it to 60. So why does it work now? So let's see here. Let's come back. Exit. Let everything stop. Cool. Let's do it up again. You okay, Postgres? Okay. Yeah, so I think it was just luck before. There's definitely a timing issue here, so I gotta sort that out. But uh, anyways, okay, that's up and running. We have our app. Okay, so let's close this. We don't need this right now. Let's open up the MCP app demo. Whoops, not Olama Copilot extension. Cool. Do we have? Okay, let's close this bad boy. Okay, we don't need this test MCP. Okay, now let's just, what branch am I in? Okay, I'm in the approve mode branch. Okay, I don't have any MCP servers at the moment though, right? So let's start this. So gonna just run it's running on 5173, so that should load up at app. Okay. Yeah, okay. No, it's I guess the sleep is I had a health check. That's why I was doing that 30 seconds max kind of thing. But for whatever reason it got out of sync at some point, I guess. I don't know, but like it's working again. Okay. I got to just configure this. So, let's see here. To your point about like you were asking about the config when you change it. So, this will change automatically. So this should, if we come here, let's close all these things. Let's do config.yaml. Let's do boom, boom. And do I have the app in here? Okay, it's not port 3000, is it? What's it running on? 5173. There we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that. The Pomerium config will change right away, and then you can see here it loads up. So just to your point about, does the config change? So I've got my app up running locally. That's all good. Okay, this is good. So the one thing that's kind of clunky right now, if you're building an MCP server with Pomerium, we're definitely gonna improve the DX here, but you you need to deploy your server to test it. Um, so we're working on how to best handle this. I think we have a product called Pomerium Zero, like I was mentioning, that handles the certificates. It's a managed control plane. The the control plane still updates at your network edge, but you can manage it from there. It's only pushing changes from there. So if we can have the UI there where we can configure an MCP server, then you can run zero locally, and then you have a route, and it's essentially you're just running the dev server for your MCP, like kind of like how I'm running TanStack here right now, not here, but here. This is the dev one, but I'm connected to an actual route. The uh, I am in a Pomerium instance loading that dev mode app right now, but the thing is, these are all local certificates, and obviously this is not exposed to the internet. So that's the that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Um, so there's that. Now I just need to see about adding an MCP server locally, even though I won't be able to test it. This is the odd part. So let's see about where is it? Boom. Saga. There's this one, which is the North Wind. Now, I guess, yeah. Let's see here. Postgres. Yeah, this one's using Postgres. Let's see. That's for, let's see here. This one here. Docker file, Northwind DB. Yeah, so I should try this one. So let's come back over here. It's not gonna fully work, but let's see. Let's go to the config.yaml or compose. I don't want this one. I want to. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. Let's add this one down here. Okay, so it's gonna run the Docker file, etc. And the DB file is gonna be Northwind because it's that. And then we'll just say this is dbmcp localhost dot Pomerium IO. Was that it? Hold on a sec. Yeah, base URL should just be that. Okay, we got Northwind 8080 sharp. Expose that. Docker file context. Okay, so I gotta clone this repo first. Let's see here. If I do it in there, it's gonna be looking okay. The context is the MCP SQLite. Okay, and then the Docker file. So let's just clone this in here, but hold on a sec. If I pull that into there, then we do uh, dbmcp. Okay, yeah, so we don't have the MCP SQLite yet. So this should actually be from there. There should be DB Northwind, DB. Okay, the context. Yeah, we got to get this set up properly. So you need to set up. Okay, so we got to grab the database. So let's download it here. Okay, that's the Northwind. I already had it. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so note that you need to set up database persistence, keep client registered. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to worry about the database persistence right now. If it restarts, I'm okay with that. Um, oh yeah, we need that runtime. Oh, that's what I was missing on my MCP server. Maybe I think I forgot that. Okay, let's come over here. Config.yaml. Enable MCPs. Definitely need that. Okay. Yeah, I'm not worried about the Postgres right now. So need the route. I think I had one in here already, but let's just go check. Boom. Okay, yeah, I have. That's the wrong config. That's the one I have on DigitalOcean. Okay, so let's see here. I should have something like this. Okay, don't need the routes, but yeah, so we want Northwind. Okay, that's fine. preserve host header, it's MCP, and then we'll say pomerium.com. Okay, that's good. And then MCP SQLite 8080. Okay, that config's there. Let's check the compose. So MCP SQLite, that's right. We basically need the Docker file and the Northwind DB, right? Okay, yeah, so let's do this. Doo-doo. I think the problem here is I forget Docker context is like the folder, right? Let's see here. Docker compose context name. Yeah, example Docker image is built using the backend subdirectory. Yeah, okay, yeah, it is directory. Okay, yeah, cool. Just double checking, you know, Docker noob stuff, I know, but okay, so we should rename this to DBMCP then, because that's where it is. And then, no, I'm not renaming that. And the Docker file's in there. That's good. And we just need a DB folder. So make dir DB. And let's just come over here. Oh, yeah, let's do move downloads northwind.db. Okay. Why did it not copy it? Oh, whoops. Move Northwind to DB. LSDB. Okay, cool. So I think that's okay. So let's try that. And I've got everything running already. So let's just do, I guess I can do a Docker compose restart maybe. Let's do Docker compose restart. Okay, yeah, no, I got to do my whole flow because of my script. Okay, okay, that's fine. All right, exit. I could probably clean this up to make this better, but the fact that this gets me a Pomerium instance up and running locally in like 10 seconds is a game changer for me. All right, let's see here. Just gonna go check a couple things. It's all good. Boom. Cool. I've been working with Docker for years now, and I still don't have a 100% answer to that question. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm somewhat comfortable with Docker now, but like I would still say I'm somewhat beginner, not stressed out about that, but you know, just learning stuff as I go. Okay. Can't okay, this is good. So um hold on, let's see what obviously didn't find it, so copy Northwind DB to oh wait. Um context. That's just misconfiguration, I know, but okay, so copy from build go/go/dbmc. Hold on a sec. Run go build. Okay, so it's picking up the Docker file. Should this just be? I would have assumed this was in that folder. DB file. That's not right. This should be dot .db. No, because we're in the scripts folder. At least this is where I put it for the time being. Actually, wait a minute. Oh yeah, yeah. So this should actually be uh, db mcp. I think that's it. Let's try that again. Okay. Well, then it should really just be this then, I guess. Copy Northwind DB. Yeah, Northwind DB not found. Okay, so let's see here. I know it's the wrong folder, but let's see here. It can't find my at North. I wish you could do at in the thing Northwind DB. I clearly did it wrong, but okay. So let's just see what it changed. Yeah, I know that to the build context. Okay. I shouldn't have to change that, but let's just try it. Sure, whatever. For now, at least. Um, okay, so this is just pulling down that image. So this is baking in an MCP server for us in our whatchamacallit, in our Pomerium instance. We got a new route. Should load up. Yeah, all good. Cool. All right. Now we're back to our usual error. This doesn't always happen, but I'm used to it that this is doesn't throw me off. Okay. So let's do a couple things here. Let's go to app. I already have the app loaded up. Sorry. Let's come here. Let's reload. Okay, so now we got our Northwind MCP server. That is good. And also, uh, basically, you can go get your routes. So Pomerium/routes. You can use this special .pomerium folder on any route. So this will get you the routes you have here. And it's showing Northwind in there too, which makes sense. But if you want MCPs, I think it's routes. This just gives you a list of the MCP routes you have. So that's good. Now that's all running, which is good. Okay, I closed the wrong one. Sorry, app.localhost. Okay, so we got Northwind there, and I can say like Who are the European, if I knew how to spell, suppliers? I'm not going to bother right now. Okay, so it's making the tool call. The tool call isn't going to work because this is passing the MCP to the OpenAI responses API right now. And essentially, it can't reach it because it's a local address. So that's normal that this is hanging here, but that's not what I wanted to test. So getting back to that issue here, or feature. So like I want to be able to ask them if they want to actually approve a tool running. So if we come here, essentially right now, am I on the right branch? Okay, actually, you know what? I think we're good in this project, so I'm going to close that for now. And let's just get some real estate here. Is this running? Where the heck is this running right now? Okay, yeah, I killed it. It's fine. Okay, let's do nr dev. Let's start it up again and let's just get all the real estate. Cool, we're back. Boom. Bu- 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 Just checking a couple things for work. I have a one-on-one that was at 11:30, but it's moved to a little later, so I can actually stream a bit longer probably. Or might do to 11:30. We'll see. But anyways, getting back to what I was saying is, so like I can check off these things right now. There's some UI cleanup I'm gonna do here, but essentially once it's selected, if we come here, essentially there's some validation, some Zod kicking in. I'm a big fan of Valibot. I haven't really used it in many applications. I've only used it in open source where I used to work. But I ended up going with Zod here, not because I don't like Valibot. It's just I know a lot of the open AI stuff is all Zod stuff, so that's the only reason. But could use Valibot, I guess. But all right. So, anyways, what I was saying is we get to this point here where these server right now it just says never. Like this is what it currently is. And now I got to find out where's the server tool states coming from. Go to definition, tool states. Oh yeah, okay. So we have enabled, allow. This should really be, well, let's see what the tool states are actually. And why is this complaining? Interesting. Okay, some other cleanup, but that's it's not what I'm worrying about right now. Okay, so let's come here, put a breakpoint. Let's attach to the node debugger. And let's come here, and I'm just gonna say, give me a list of all the European. Oh, is it just capital, right? Is that all it is? Yeah, okay. Give me a list of all the European suppliers. Okay, we're gonna hit the breakpoint here, and let's just get some real estate again. So we have our servers. There should only be one. It's the Northwind one. Whoops, sorry. Um, and we can see it's connected, and there's no tool states. So that's why we're not checking anything. So where does tool states? This part I literally vibe coded just on my other computer, and I pushed the branch up, and I was gonna go look at it. So Okay, so on the client side, we definitely do tool states, use tool state. Okay, so let's look for that. So it's probably in chat.tsx. Uh, find use tool states. Is that it? Yeah. Interesting. Where is it? Okay, oh, it's over there, but it's not used in it. Okay, okay, yeah, I see. So I think we should probably bring that back. Okay. And yeah, let's do that. Okay. So essentially, I had a server page before that just showed the list of connected ones. We removed it once we added that endpoint that gets all the Pomerium MCP routes. But I'm gonna bring this back so that we can say which ones we want to allow and stuff. Because I had all this already. So let's do this. Let's say uh, I had a server settings component and route a while ago. Can we bring it back from Git history? See, this is the kind of thing. This I think is super useful for AI because like I'm gonna be like, I don't, I would be Googling finding this first in the history, and then I mean I could grep it, I guess. I don't know. For me, this is useful. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get rid of that. Update. Yeah. Okay. Continue. Okay. Yeah. Server. Yeah. So we want to bring this back. Pretty sure this is it. Um, okay. Can you bring this back? Okay. Git show name only for that. Okay. So yes, that's me. Okay. Server settings. Yes. Okay. Okay. Continue. Um, use I already have the use local storage .ts file. No need to bring that back. Okay, and while that's going on, let's go look in the MCP app demo, and I'm gonna look at when I added the page. Hold on. Yeah, so now you can edit a server's settings. Okay, yeah, I think when I did the initial, see what I had for routes. Okay, I just had the index on the initial. Let's see here. Okay, forget that. Fix flat server dialog, fixing. Okay. Where was that route? Now you can It's not in that file. Okay, let's see here. Keep, yes. Can you also find the settings.ts route and bring that back? All right. Yeah, it's essentially doing a grep, but okay. Settings, yeah. So this one. Yes, that's the one I want. All right, cool. All right, now it's saying, talk to me, Copilot. No, I'm not gonna build right now. Let's keep. Okay, so we got those two files back. That's good. Let's close the sidebar. Uh, and our dev. Let's run that back. Okay, wait, it's already running. Okay, exit. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's just go take a peek here and let's go to settings. This might die, but uh, okay. Well, I can probably just work on that. Let's see here. Clear, MPX. Yeah, I gotta regenerate it. Gotta update the route tree gen. Yeah. Okay. Hold on a sec. All right, let's delete that. Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna take that and okay, gotta shrink this down for a sec. Sorry, peeps. I need to see what I'm doing here. There, and let's look at index. So we need to have it similar to that. And so let's bump it up now. Okay, so we need that. Create file route. That's good. Let's move that up. Uh, don't need chat. And then route, create file route. Okay, route component. Yeah, okay, that's right. Okay. Route create file, route component server settings. Okay, that looks good. Now let's do clear. Let's do nr dev. That should start the route tree gen that generates a new one. Okay, that's good. So let's go over here and refresh. Okay, that's okay, but I got my server settings back. Now we need to load the Pomerium ones, so we need to get them from the route and then load them in here. So let's see here. Okay, so guess yes, we want to go to dot Pomerium MCP routes. Yeah, so there's no name though, but which is okay, I guess. But I think the route should have a name. But anyways, let's just do this. Uh, right. Okay. We want to. We need to get the list of MCP servers from the Pomerium from this route. Use React query with a custom hook. All right, cool. Okay, what have you done? No, I don't need a new route. I don't need a new route. That route exists even though you don't see it in the app. Okay, let's keep that. All right, that's good. And then, okay, now in server settings, load the list of MCP servers using SHAD CN cards and make them an unordered list. And then what else? They currently have no name, so use the URL minus HTTPS. Cool, cool. All right. Remind me about this in 20 minutes. Okay, cool. Okay, what you doing here? I'll definitely review all this once it's done, but I just want to see what it's got here. Close this. Okay. Now add a section to display the MCP servers. I had a thing to do it before, but um, just reworking this. Just want a starting point, and who knows? Maybe it would have been faster if I just did this myself. But all right. While that's doing its thing, I'm just gonna go look at the use MCP server. Don't save. Okay, boom. Let's look at this bad boy. Okay, so MCP server has the ID, name, string, sure. Connected, disconnected, error. Yeah, there's that too. Um, uh, tool states, uh, tool state. I think it's just that. Yeah. Okay, that's good. I think that's okay. So then we're gonna get that, and then we're gonna basically merge it with use local storage, I think. But anyways, let's see what it's saying over here. Sure. Cool. Now let's see what we got. Things go boom or what? Okay, available MCP servers. That's good. Okay. I'm gonna just do it myself. Okay. We don't need to add server right now, and we don't. Yeah, we want to list the tools and stuff too. But anyways, let's see here. Okay, let's go. Are we getting the list here first? So let's just close the sidebar. Let's close this. Okay, let's go to server settings. Okay. Server form. We don't need that right now. Let's see. Okay, well, let's just leave that for now. The dialogue and all that. MCP server section available. MCP loading, sure. Loading MCP servers. Otherwise, error, sure. MCP servers. Dot length greater to 0. Okay, so it's not getting the MCP servers right now. So let's go and look in here in the network tab. Let's zoom this in. Let's refresh. Okay, so it did get one back. So this, did it go to the right URL? Okay, so it did go to the right URL. Okay, cool. All right. So that's good. This is what we get back from the use MCP servers hook if successful. So if that's the case, actually, let's just go and look. Use MCP servers. Okay, response, await. Here, okay, wait, let's see here. This could be a little cleaner, but okay. Uh, should be okay with that if return equals. This isn't right, but a return data dot servers. Because we should be able to just use, we don't have to do it all fancy like this, but regardless, let's refresh. There we go. Okay, so Northwind shows up. Okay, and I think that's where we'll kind of wrap things up for today. Cool. All right. Anyways, I think I have a busy day tomorrow, but I think I might have time to stream tomorrow in the morning. Anyways, thanks for hanging, and we'll see you in the next one.